Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today, what I do have in it is Still Wakes the Deep, a new game from the Chinese room, and I'm trying to run it on the GTX 1650 Super, which proves to be kind of a difficult task, since this game it is using Unreal Engine 5, and the graphical options, despite it is everything on low settings, FSR3 on its quality mode, and the lightning forced to high because you can only choose high or epic. You can't choose lower than that because apparently Unreal Engine 5 default high setting for lightning enables lumen, and since the game doesn't have a version without the lumen, the lightning quality is just forced to a minimum of high setting or just epic. Alright, so with the low settings I was able to get an experience above 30 frames per second, although we are missing up some of the stuff in here. I think we are missing screen space reflections, not entirely sure about this one, but at least it isn't really very noticeable. But the most impactful thing that I think that we are losing is shadows. So basically on the low settings we don't get any shadows, but shockingly enough we get lumen, which it is a little bit weird, you know. We have a kind of a top tier global illumination software ray tracing enabled on its low settings, although we just don't get shadows. So yeah, that's weird. But still, I'm having a performance above 30 frames per second. The VRAM might be an issue in here, since with the low settings the VRAM was entirely full at its 4 gigabytes of VRAM. So because of that reason, I also tried the game with medium settings. Obviously, lightning forced to high, like I said, and I kept the texture quality on low because of that same texture quality issue. I didn't want texture quality to be in my way, mostly because of the VRAM. And with medium settings, unfortunately, in this specific part of the game, I do get frame rate sometimes lower than 30 frames per second. Many parts of the game that I played, it was more performant than this part, but I think this part it is a nice place to benchmark because this is more than like a 3, 4, 5 hours game, and I'm not really sure how much demanding or less demanding other sequences will be compared to this one. So since the beginning of the game, since this was the most demanding part that I did found, I decided to use as a benchmark reference for us to try out. And in my opinion, if I would play this game, I would probably play with the low settings, textures on low. I would play with medium settings with textures on low, that's it. And despite the frame rate drops, I would still play like this. This is mostly a walking simulator with some horror behind it, but apparently it is mostly a walking sim. Still, there is some interactive parts like we need to grab the stairs and we need to press some quick time events for you to not fall down or stuff like that, but it's mostly a walking simulator most of the time. um, because of that, I think that even if the frame rate drops below 30 frames per second in some sequences like this one, which is more demanding than the usual, I still think I prefer to play this way than play without shadows, or at least try to find a good balance in between the low and medium settings where I could keep the shadows at least enabled and ambient occlusion at least. But that's just, well, my opinion. Alright, so let's jump on to the medium settings as promised. So as you can see, medium settings, textures on, low quality, lightning on high, and just let's go. As you can see, we are already having a little bit of a struggle to keep this. So one of the things that I also noticed with texture quality is that on the low settings, despite the VRAM is full, it has some trouble to load some textures, and textures on medium, it seems that they actually load. So it's a little bit contrasense, you know, medium textures working and low textures not loading properly. It seems like it is an issue with Unreal. But the issue is, at some spots, I did found out that the textures fulfill so much the VRAM, put so much stress into the VRAM, that sometimes textures on medium, texture stops loading, so they They just, at the beginning, they evolved very well and much better than on those settings, but at some point they just don't evolve at all, and performance starts to drop massively because of VRAM overflow. So yeah, 4 gigabytes of VRAM, it's a bitch, you know, in these actually, and especially in many Unreal Engine 5 titles. As for the game itself, I haven't tried much. Alright, just wanted to benchmark a little bit of the game since the copy wasn't really provided by the developer. I didn't want to put as much effort as I would in this video. Alright, so I think that's all that I want to talk about Still Wakes the Deep. In case you have any questions, just leave a comment on the comment section of the video. Thank you a lot for watching until now, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Ever. Not as fucked as you by the sounds of it. Look, you better get up there. The boss man sounds raging.
Well, how long will that take? Mortar's in, but might be 2-3 weeks before it's shipped, like. I can patch it, but we'll need to keep an eye. Maybe say a prayer and all.
Seems like we'll keep doing those.
Stay on the path, mate. A cargo hoist will crush you if you get close.
McClintock! Jesus, Scooby! Give me a heart attack.
Oh, sorry, mate. Can I ask a wee favour?
What do you need, Scoob?
Oh, could you do me a quick fix on the crew lift fuse box while you're down there?
Aye, no bother.
Oh, you're a lifesaver, mate. And don't let the big man get you down, alright?
Thanks, pal.